Hello and welcome to my presentation about the development of a digital tool for planning physical exercise training during cardiac rehabilitation. The work presented was conducted at the Ludwig Boltzmann Institute for Digital Health and Prevention, in particular by me and my colleagues Eva Maria Strumecker, Rada Hussein, Andrea Steiner-Hochgatterer, Josef Niebauer and Stefan Tino Kulnik. Today, I'll first talk about the motivation for this work, then give you some details about the methods adopted and how we proceeded within the whole development process. After that, I'll show you the results of our work and finalize the talk with a conclusion and outlook for future research. The COVID-19 related lockdown in Austria in spring 2020 highlighted the need for digital support also for patients with cardiovascular disease, or shortly CVD. For this group in particular, it was important to assure continued cardiac rehabilitation. This cardiac rehabilitation should be continued in a safe and effective manner despite of Corona, for example, at home. And to do so, we initiated a user-centered design process which involved both health professionals and patients suffering from CVD. Within this process, we conceptualized and developed digital support fostering physical activity of patients with CVD. Here you see some milestones within the user-centered design process, from the collection of ideas and first sketches of what the so-called activity planning tool should do and provide, to a clickable prototype with a final specification of the tool, and at the end towards a first functional prototype which can be used on the mobile phone as well as in the web browser. The conceptualization and development of the activity planning tool was an explorative and iterative process, as shown on the picture here on the right-hand side. In an initial workshop and a co-design workshop, we defined and narrowed down the idea of a supportive digital tool which supports rehabilitation for patients with CVD. We then went into more detail to refine our idea and the requirements. This was done via a requirements workshop and interviews with health professionals, and finally resulted in a technical specification and a clickable prototype. This then provided the basis for the implementation of the APT, or the activity planning tool, which was done in an agile manner involving continuous evaluation, iteration and adaptation of the tool, of the activity planning tool. Overall, the described process can be split into 4 phases, which I will describe in more detail on the following slides. In the first phase of idea and concept generation, an initial workshop with 3 researchers and 4 rehabilitation professionals was conducted. In this workshop, the predominant need for a tool to support activity planning was pointed out. To deepen researchers' understanding of the outpatient rehabilitation context and to show practitioners' daily workflow, we conducted co-design workshop. Further, in this workshop, we identified needs and improvements regarding activity planning. With regard to patients' perspectives, these were obtained indirectly by interview data, workshops, and rehabilitation professionals' appraisals. As an outcome of this phase, we compiled a detailed collection of contextual information and stakeholders' needs, as shown on the picture on the left of the slide. In phase 2, the phase regarding the refinement of the idea and the definition of requirements, we did a thematic analysis and grouped the collected needs and translated them into technical requirements. Here you see the collection of needs. In total, we had 15 needs collected, and their translation into technical requirements. So based on the so-called Moscow technique, these 15 requirements were ranked in a workshop with 4 researchers and then used as a basis for further work. So in the next step, we used the requirements and drew some first sketches of how the activity planning tool could look like. Further, we developed user stories to communicate the envisioned requirements to stakeholders and developers and to ensure that we have the same perspective on potential users. Phase 3 was about the technical specifications of the tool. And to cross-check the prioritization of requirements and their translation into concrete functionalities of the tool, we conducted lead user interviews with four rehabilitation professionals. After that, we were able to define a final specification and develop a clickable wireframe for communication with stakeholders, as well as for a detailed design template for developers. Here on the left-hand side of the slide, you see this clickable prototype or this wireframe prototype. Further, I want to add that the tool was implemented in compliance with the current European General Data Protection Regulation, the GDPR. On the right-hand side of the slide, you see a description and a detailed listing of the patient data which are collected via the app and which should be pointed out within the GDPR regulation. Phase 4 is the implementation and continuous adaptation phase. And in this phase, continuous feedback from rehabilitation professionals was collected through the clickable wireframes and then fed back to the developers to ensure an iterative and agile process. By doing so, additional functionality and changes could be implemented concurrently. The prototype was implemented as both native app, as you see on the left-hand side. It runs on iOS and Android, and also as a web app so that it can be run in a browser, and implementation was done via the Flutter framework. Coming to the results of our activities, our activity planning tool comprises the following features. First, it has a training database which comprises different sorts of trainings, for example, endurance trainings and interval trainings. Next, we have activities. These are, for example, activities like walking, running, ergometer performances, and so on. And these activities are planned together with a health professional. In addition to the regular planned activities, there are extra activities which are voluntarily undertaken by the patients and which are documented by the patients and added by the patients on their own. Further, we have active minutes and a weekly goal of minutes which have to be achieved. Messages are another feature which provide or remind the participants or the patients which activities they should perform, which goals they have set together with the health professional, or provide tips on how to optimally conduct the training. Training videos are another source for guidance of the patients. So these videos have been recorded by health professionals and are provided to the patients via the app. With the documentation feature, a list of all activities performed can be stored or printed out. And personal goals at the end enable a kind of success feeling in the patient and a kind of measure on what has been achieved in the last weeks. Here you see some screenshots of characteristic functionalities of the activity planning tool for patients who use the app on their mobile phones. The first one is the training plan, which is visualized as a calendar with the dots below the day indicating planned activities. So the green ones are the activities planned together with the health professionals, and the blue or red ones are the ones additionally performed by the patients. Next, on the second screenshot is about the active minutes per week and the goals set together with the health professional. So you see we have kind of visualization of the active minutes and how much remains to be done until the weekly goal has been achieved. Third, we have a visualization of the progress of activities over time and percentage of planned activities and additional activities performed. Further, we have the training videos which can be viewed by the patients and which should provide them some guidance within their training. And last, we have the exporting function of documented activities. To sum up, with my talk, I wanted to show the process of developing a digital tool to support rehabilitation for patients with CVD, and in particular to support regular physical activity, even in times when it's not possible to go to the outpatient facility and conduct the rehab activities there. Currently, we conduct and plan studies to evaluate the activity planning tool. In particular, we apply the tool in the field. For example, we give it to patients and rehab professionals to investigate how to best integrate the tool into their daily routine and to investigate how digital tools can support rehab activities in the area of CVD and other areas. Finally, I want to thank everybody who contributed to this research, especially my colleagues from the sports medicine who really did a great job and supported us in everything we needed. So now I want to finish my talk and thank you for your attention. And in case you have any questions, feedback, or any other input for me, feel free to contact me. On this slide, you find my email address below. Thank you.